everyone, it's Heather Klug, the registered dietitian from the Karen Yantz Cardiac Awareness Center. Cherries are in season right now and they are so fun to eat all by themselves, but I thought it would be kind of nice to show you a really nice fun summer kind of recipe that has to do with cherries. So this is called a cherry lime mint refresher. So I have a couple of them here already made up so you could see what they look like when they're done. And this is a really easy recipe to make. It's so nice and refreshing during the summertime, okay? So here's what you need to make this recipe. So you want some cherries. Now it's best if you can use fresh, but you can also use frozen. Just make sure you thaw them out ahead of time. You're also gonna need some limes to squeeze for lime juice. You wanna get some fresh mint and then a little bit of sugar and some seltzer and some ice cubes. All right, so with this recipe, what we're gonna do to start off, we are going to get the pit out of the cherries. Now this is maybe, I would say, the least fun part of it. I don't know, maybe you'd find this kind of enjoyable, but it's kind of messy anyway. So if you have naughty kids at home, maybe make them do this job, okay? So when you're picking out cherries in the grocery store, what you wanna do is you wanna look for ones that have like nice green stems to them. If you can see some of these a little bit close up, you want to make sure your cherries don't have any wrinkling or pitting, you know, kind of indentations in them. That means that they are, they're wrinkled, they're losing their moisture and they're not going to be as good anymore and they're more likely to get moldy. And if you have any of these at home, it's good to use the ones that don't have any stems in them first, because once the stem is removed, now air is exposed. And your cherries are going to, you know, deplete faster. But anyway, so here's what we do to get the pit out of the cherry. There's lots of different ways. If you have a cherry pitter at home, you can certainly use that, but I don't have one of those. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the stem off, and then I have an icing tip here with like a round tip. This is a large size. I'm just going to place this on a plate. You could use a bowl if you want, or a cutting board, and the part where the stem was, I'm just going to put that right over the top, and I'm going to press down. I'm just going to kind of wiggle it down. A little juice will come out, and oh, out popped the cherry. So you're just going to do that for all the cherries you need in the recipe, and just so you know, the recipe is right down below in the show notes. So you're just going to keep going through and doing them one at a time. See how that pops right out nicely? Now, if you don't have an icing tip at home, another option would be to use a skewer or maybe like a chopstick too. So same thing, you're going to take the stem off and then you can poke through. This requires a little more kind of, you know, good muscle control here. This I find is not as easy to do. You will get it to separate, but it's a little tougher to get the cherry out. You might want to press it with your fingers, and now I'm losing a bunch of juice. So I kind of like the icing tip a little bit better. Certainly another option is you can use a paring knife too, just really, really carefully slicing through there so you don't cut yourself. Make sure you keep like a paper towel on hand or an old towel that you don't mind getting cherry juice on. And you can see I'm wearing black today. Mainly because I did not want to get cherry juice all over myself. Sometimes it does kind of splash out at you. So once you get the pits out of the cherries, then you can go through and you can cut them to the desired size that you'd like. I usually like to cut them in fours, but however you'd like it is fine. And then you're going to put those inside a nice clear glass so it looks nice and pretty. And then we're gonna add a little bit of mint to it. So I have some over here that I already separated off the leaves. So the mint, if you grow it at home, this is a great recipe to use up your mint. Otherwise, you can find this in the produce section. They usually come in little clear containers, okay? So you're gonna separate those from the stems and you're gonna add those inside. You can kind of put in as much as you want. I love mint, it's one of my favorite herbs. So I'm gonna put quite a bit in there. Okay, and then we're gonna add a little bit of sugar. Now, if you're really trying to keep your added sugar intake down, You can keep that out of this recipe if you'd like, but it does kind of help draw out the juices a little bit more, and certainly is going to make it taste a little bit sweeter. I just put like a teaspoon in there. You can put less. Again, you can skip that if you want. Now, if you have a muddler at home, you can use this for this next step, but I don't have one either, so I'm just going to use the back of my ice cream scoop, or you can use the back of like a wooden spoon, and you're just going to mash all of this together in the bottom of the glass, okay? And you can see the juices are starting to come out of the cherries. You're going to get some of that liquid from the mint as well to kind of squeeze out of there. It's going to make it taste really good. Okay, so after you're done muddling it, the next step is you're going to add a little bit of lime juice. So again, you want to use fresh limes. So to get the lime juice, you can use either a juicer like this, or you can use like a squeezer like this. So if you're doing a large amount of them, you might want to use one of these. I find I get a little more juice when I use one of these juicers as opposed to the hand one. All right, so I'm just going to pour this into a little cup so it's easy to pour. Okay, set that off to the side. And then you're going to pour a little bit inside the glass, maybe like a couple teaspoons of it. And then we're going to add ice. So you're going to fill up the glass with ice. All right, and the last step here, guys, real easy. You just buy some cherry flavored sparkling water, and we're going to add that right on top. Doesn't that look pretty? And then we're going to decorate it. You don't have to do this part, but you can decorate it on top with a little bit of mint leaves. So there we go, and then you can stir it up with a spoon. But here we go. We have our cherry mint lime refresher. I hope you enjoy this recipe. If you do, please make a comment in the comment box. And thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.